Thanks for joining me today. Today, our second part of the Yama series, we're talking about Satya, which translates loosely into honesty. Get into your cozy clothes. Today, you'll need either a standard block or you can be up against a wall for a pose towards the end of class. And then once you're ready, we'll get started in a meditative seat. Today, I'm in hero's pose, seated on a block, but you can start cross-legged if that works better for you. Start to just begin to notice the breath in the body, letting the eyes close or gently lower, whatever is your preference. Start to notice the breath. Is it choppy? Is it smooth? Is it uninterrupted? Is it interrupted? Don't try to change it. Just notice what's happening in your body today, in this moment. Settle into your seat. Noticing the crown of your head, lifting towards the sky. We'll scan down and check in. The eyes in their sockets, the cheeks, the jaw. Are you clenching? The neck and your shoulders, rolling them down the back, the chest. Soft Buddha belly, breathing in and out. And then those glorious hips that carry us through our day. Feeling the weight of the body sinking down through the legs. And feeling a levity through the spine and the crown, reaching towards the heavens. I found myself a lot this winter thinking about Satya, not quite in the literal way of telling the truth, honesty, but of dredging up things out of the darkness, honesty. The winter brings us so much dark, so much that we don't know, so much that may scare us, or we may be hiding from ourselves. And throughout your practice today, I ask that you think about honesty and Satya in the way that you explore those dark parts of yourself that maybe need a little bit of light shown into them. Considering what possibilities we can reach or what new truths we can uncover simply by shining a bit of light. We'll be working with the hips today, which some people say hold emotion, but our whole body holds emotion. Just try to focus on uncovering something new. Come back to your breath and come back to the room, to your seat, gently blinking your eyes open. And then we'll begin in a tabletop position at the top of our mat. From your tabletop, extend the left leg long and then let it come between the hands pressing up on the left knee to find a gentle, low lunge, stretching through the front of the right hip. Make sure your hips are both facing forward and even, and that the lower back doesn't have too much of a curve. begin to shift the weight backwards, the foot coming up, and then crawl the fingertips back forward. Maybe you need to adjust your knee so you can make this motion fluidly. Stretching forward through the hips and then backwards through the hamstring. Keeping it fluid. Inhaling forward. Exhaling the hips back. Inhaling forward. And then letting the left knee meet the right. Extend the right leg long. And then let it come through the hands to find the floor. And use the hands to push yourself up into a low lunge. Here, exhale. First, making sure the hips are even and squared towards the front, and that the tailbone is dropping down towards the floor. I feel this stretch in the front of my psoas most. Continue to breathe here. And on an exhale, shift the hips back to a runner's lunge. Take a moment here, feeling it out. And on your next exhale, shift forward, inhaling here. Exhale the hips back, runner's lunge. Inhale forward, stretching the hips. Exhale back, stretching the hamstring. Slowly return to tabletop. Let the left knee come forward once again. The right knee lifts this time. And then the left arm lifts high to the sky, finding a low lunge twist. Take a couple breaths here. And then exhale the left hand to the floor, the left foot back into a plank, and then the right foot forward into a low lunge, lifting the right arm high to the sky with the gaze following, feeling that back heel working towards the back of the room. Feeling the palm press strongly into the floor, and then exhaling the hand back down to the ground, finding yourself in a tabletop position, pushing back to find a hero's pose, shifting the hips to one side, letting the soles of the feet come to rest together in a butterfly. Take a few moments to find yourself here, massaging the feet or fluttering the legs before bending forwards into a butterfly stretch. Here I like to put a block on the top of my feet for my forehead to rest, but today maybe you just crawl your fingertips a little bit forward. Maybe sitting up straight in butterfly is enough for you today. Whatever you choose, make sure you're being honest with yourself in this moment and doing what your body needs. On an inhale, feel where maybe you're holding tension, and as you exhale, let it dissipate. Continue to note the breath as you let yourself sink a bit deeper into the pose. Here, maybe you can go a little bit further. Maybe you chose a prop that you don't need any longer. And in that case, be honest too. The pose continues to evolve as you continue to sit in it. Walk the fingertips back towards the body, finding yourself in your butterfly once again, and then letting the right leg fold behind you, the left shin parallel towards the front of the mat, into a deer pose. If you feel comfortable with your knees just at an angle, sitting up straight, stay there. If you'd like, you can walk your hands back behind you for a bit of a reclined deer, where I am today. I find that the hips, my hips, they don't often feel tight until I stretch them. And I feel like that's an interesting thought to have about our life in general. What are we just moving along with, going along with? Not pulling the covers off of for our own comfort? What are we letting hide in the darkness and not calling out for comfort when perhaps stretching ourselves a little would have unimaginable gains? Last breath here before you push yourself up. And then let the right knee stack on top of the left into a shoelace pose. Your feet may be out to the sides, or maybe you tuck them in more towards your heels, the heels towards the glutes. Maybe your knees don't even come close to touching. If that's the case, you can take a block between them and stay upright, feeling a stretch along the outer hip. Or perhaps you fold forward, surrendering more deeply into the pose. Letting yourself breathe. Continue to stay present with the breath and the pose. Push yourself back up to sit up straight and move the right heel towards the left knee. Left arm wrapping around, the right arm resting behind the sacrum in a short little seated twist. Inhaling to lengthen the crown towards the sky, and exhaling to twist more deeply. One more breath. And then begin to return to center, to counter twist for just a beat. Exhaling to center, finding that butterfly pose again, fluttering your wings. And then exhaling, the right shin parallel towards the front of the mat, the left foot towards the back of the room, in your deer pose, either staying seated, crown high to the sky, or maybe walking the hands back slightly into a reclined deer. Either way, release any tension or holding, anything you might be protecting. Of course, don't stretch past your limits, but do ask yourself why that limit's there. Begin to walk the hands back up high, and then let the left knee come around and cross on top of the right for a shoelace pose on the opposite side. Finding the feet outside of the hips, the knees on top of one another, either directly on top or propped together. Inhaling to feel both hip bones pushing into the floor evenly. And then as you exhale, if you'd like to, you can fold forward, stretching even further into the outer hip. Don't feel like you need to fold if your hips aren't both equally on the floor. Maybe today is different from yesterday, or maybe you can go further, or maybe you need to nurture your body a bit more. I just ask you to be honest, practicing your Satya. Begin to use your hands to push yourself all the way back up to seated, pulling the left heel towards the right knee. The right arm wraps around the left leg, left arm behind you, in a seated twist. Inhaling, finding length. Exhaling, finding twist without pushing. On your next exhale, return to center with a short counter twist to the other side, maintaining the length of the spine from root to crown. Exhale yourself back to center, finding your butterfly pose just for a minute. Find your block or whatever prop you're using today, and then find yourself laying on your back, feet flat on the floor. Hands resting on the belly first for a moment, feeling the lower back pressing into your mat, the earth coming up to support you. Press into the soles of the feet to lift the hips, and place your block or prop on the lowest or perhaps second lowest setting, right on the sacrum. As you do this, you should feel a release along the front of the hips, the hip flexors, the psoas, the lower abdominals. And as you continue to inhale and exhale, continue to soften. Let yourself soften into the pose. Letting go of your to-do list. Letting go of ruminations or thoughts about what's happened in the past. And for just this short practice, letting yourself be. If you'd like, you can extend your legs out long, but if you feel any pinching in the lower spine, return your soles of the feet back to the mat as we started. See if maybe you can shine a little bit of light into the darkness here. The darkness of our front body. We're so often hunched over a desk or a phone or a steering wheel, even a grocery shopping cart. What light can you shine into the body, and what truth, what Satya can you find in that darkness? Breathe into the smallest parts of yourself and breathe out what you no longer need. Keeping the lower back on your block, walk the feet back up to meet the floor. If you're already there, perfect. Bring the knees up and into the chest, and then extend the feet high to the sky in a waterfall pose. And then bring the arms to mimic. Begin to visualize as you lay here a stream of sunshine entering the soles of your feet and your fingertips. All the qualities of sunshine, the warmth, brightness, joy, flowing into your body and filling your torso, moving up through the hips, through the upper arms, through the thighs, through the calves. And then it's so abundant that the sunshine begins to flow over, just spilling out into the room around you. If you'd like to return the arms to the floor, you can do that, or you can leave them up. But leave your legs up in the air, enjoying the feeling of sunshine in the midst of our winter darkness. Take a deep exhale in through the nose, and then let it go out through the mouth. Pull the knees into the chest, gently removing your block, And extend the legs and the arms out long. Into your Shavasana. Letting your practice be done. Just letting the nutrients of the practice sink into the body. All you have to do here is breathe, and I'll get you when it's time. Before you let your body return to the room, let your mind return to the room, thinking about what it would be like to move the smallest parts of your body, and then welcoming in some gentle movement into the fingertips and the toes. Beginning to notice the breath once again. And then gently rolling to one side, finding a fetal position for a breath, letting yourself rest. And then head last, put yourself up using your arms to a seated position, eyes remaining closed. Oh Lord. Let your hands meet at heart center, bowing the head to the heart. I thank you for practicing with me today.